So, Martin, one of the things that occurred to me as I was, we've had our discussions about different issues and problems that people run into is how they are taught English.
Well, there are some countries like Sweden, Finland, which are very famous for their English language courses. And there are some countries like Sweden and Finland, which are very famous for their English language teaching. And people who you can tell usually Swedish people because they speak very good English. But there are a lot of countries where they have a very grammar-based way of teaching. And students just learn the grammar, and usually they can't speak the language at all. They have big problems. So they in their country, they would be top of their class, for example. They go to university for 4 years, and they'd be top of their class in English. They come to England, they get to passport control, and the immigration officer would say, hello, why are you visiting the UK? Pardon? Why are you visiting the UK? Sorry? And they can't understand anything because the focus is on grammar, because they are marked on their grammar and they're not marked on their speaking ability or any kind of creative side of English. So they are what we call very field dependent, that they need a crutch, they need a book, or they need grammar to help them, and they really can't speak very well. So this is something that you have to bear in mind. If you go to another country and your colleagues learned English in a country which has a very grammar-based education system, then they're going to be terrified of speaking to you.
Right.
Really terrified. Because there's an exam called the TOEFL exam, which now is all computer-based. Before that happened, you could actually go and do the exam in person. And you would talk to a real live person in English for the speaking part of the exam. When they went computer-based, all the students were terrified because they thought, not only do I have to speak English, I have to talk to some strange person on a computer screen. And there was just one center in Turkey that was still doing the old paper-based exam with the face-to-face interview. And that was always full. Every day of the week, it was full of candidates who did not want to speak in English to a computer because they were nervous enough already, and they were thinking, oh my God, they're going to record this, they're going to put it on YouTube, or they're going to... So they just didn't want to speak. And this is a big problem. They can't process a lot of spoken language, or they have a problem understanding it. And this also comes about because there are some countries, they have an official academy of the language. So in Spain, for example, you have the Royal Academy, who decides which words are Spanish and which words aren't Spanish. So when new words come into the language, the Royal Academy has to give that word their seal of approval. And it's very rigid. It's not very flexible. And you will find that with students, that they have problems processing things that don't fit into their worldview. For something very simple. For example, we can say in English, we can say a song by Madonna. And you can also say a Madonna song. Now, Madonna is a noun, a proper noun, let's say. But when we put that word before another noun, which is the word song, it's like an adjective. And foreigners can get confused by that. They're saying, wait a second, a Madonna song, so this is an adjective. So Madonna is not a noun, it's an adjective. Well, it's kind of flexible. It's kind of like a noun which is pretending to be an adjective. But it's okay, it's good English. But often they would question you and think, maybe you're not really a native speaker because this doesn't tally with the grammar I've learned. So this kind of thing is a big problem.
I was going to say that's really interesting, and I've been invited to go to Poland for a week. I think 2 weeks from now, I'll be in Poland and teaching English. Except I'm not teaching English. I'm speaking English. They said we don't really want a teacher. We want someone who is a native English speaker who will talk about whatever they want to talk about with our students, because we need them to practice conversational English as opposed to the grammar and everything else. So they put together this 5-day program, and it's full. It's not. Fortunately, they're not depending on me to create a curriculum. They have a curriculum. We're going to do this, and you'll be talking to people one-on-one conversational, and we'll do that. And we're going to put you into all these different situations so that the students, when they get into these situations, when they visit the UK or Canada or Australia or the States or wherever they go, they kind of have an idea of how to speak in that situation. And I thought, well, I'm actually really excited and interested in seeing what's going to happen, because I've never experienced it myself before, but I'm really looking forward to it. And I thought it was really interesting that they would put together a curriculum that was all about conversational. Like, okay, we've been learning all this English and everything else. The people come from all over Europe, and now we're just going to put you with somebody. We've taught you all the rules, but the people that are native English speakers don't know the rules either, right? And so they just speak. So we're going to put you with people that just speak, so you're going to get the edge off of the only grammar and the proper English, and you learn how they speak in different parts of the world.
Yes, I mean, I think the best thing you can do there as well is to make sure that they are completely immersed in the speaking, because they'll probably want to take notes, and they'll stop you and say, I'm sorry, what was that? Or what was that? Or, what was that verb? What's the past tense? What's the past participle? Just go with it. Say, look, I don't want to take any notes. We're just here, because you're not going to take notes when you're in England or America or whatever. Let's just talk. And the first day is going to be very hard, but as we do this more and more, by Friday, you'll actually find that you're learning just by speaking and listening. You don't need so much to make notes. And because they are often, as I said, they're very dependent on their grammar. They're very dependent on the course book. You literally, you get students who they have their course book when they go outside, particularly lower levels, and somebody asks them a question. They say, oh, hello, where are you from? And they get the course book out, and they're going, page 2, where are you from? I am from, and they need this crutch, and you've got to get them to throw that crutch away and just walk.
That's right.
If you can, but it's going to be hard for them the first couple of days, getting used to your accent, getting used to your language. But you have to sort of say to them, by the end of this week, really, I guarantee that you will improve your speaking much, much more than if we use grammar and we make lots of notes and that kind of stuff.
Yeah. And in our next lecture, we're going to talk on something that's very similar to this, which is different conventions or concepts that occur across the English language,